Yo, how's it going? Tao here, back at it again with another video, and today's a tutorial on how to draw Itachi from Naruto. So, what you're going to need is a pencil, or preferably 2B or above, an eraser. You'll use this for your highlights and to take out any mistakes, and a blending tool. Now, it can be like a rag or a small cloth, and next is lead shavings. Now, you don't need graphite powder. You can use pretty much just shavings off a pencil. So if you sharpen the tip of a pencil, just use those. It'll make sense later on. So I like to start out drawing a head by drawing a circle. That just gives like a strong foundation for when I draw heads. Yeah. Now I draw a line down the center of that circle, and this line changes depending on where the face is facing. Yeah. So, if the face was looking a bit to the left, then the center line would be right down the middle of the face, down the nose. Yeah, I'll put up a tutorial later on about kind of how I place that line. Cool, now I end up drawing a line through the middle of the circle and another one at the bottom of the circle and one in between. Now, I've labeled these areas of what's going to sit where. So you've got the chin there, evenly spaced, and now I like to bring down from the side of the head to put the jaw in there to kind of get that egg shape, so we start to give the head a bit of shape. Yeah, so it looks more like a head and not just a circle. Now those lines are just guidelines. These are the ones that I prefer using. When you draw these in, if you choose to do so, just make sure you do them a bit lightly so you can kind of erase them out later. Yeah, and yeah, there's the bottom of the nose. That's where the lips are going to be, and there are the eyebrows. Now the eyes actually sit in the middle of the head, so you've got a similar space from the eyes to the top of the head as you do from the eyes down to the chin. Yeah, so over here I'm pretty much just drawing the shape that I see. Now you can pretty much just pause the video and copy what you see there, and the more you practice, the quicker you'll get at this, and you also develop your own shortcuts. And when you do that, you might find that you have a different way of going about this, and that's totally cool. I'd actually love to see that. So yeah, let me know if you've come up with a different way to draw this face. Yeah, and a lot of these skills can translate into other characters that you want to draw. So personally, I like to start out with drawing the eyebrows, and that kind of gives me an idea of where the eyes are spaced out. Now the general rule of thumb is that with the eyes, you can fit a third eye directly in between those first two eyes. So you've got an eye, and you should be able to fit another eye in the center, and then you've got the second eye, if that makes sense, right? So now I like to draw those markings that are specific to Itachi. Yeah. As you can see, I've drawn the lip there, and to me it looks a bit off, so I do end up going out, going and erasing that and fixing it up a bit later. Yeah, this could probably still pull off the Itachi look, but I wasn't happy with it, so yeah, we get rid of it and we fix it up. Don't worry about making mistakes at this stage, by the way. It's totally cool. You've barely committed much to the drawing at this stage, so yeah. I think in time you'll start to find that mistakes, you'll make less and less mistakes, and your perspective of mistakes may change, so you'll start to see them as just another part of the piece, unless you're actually trying to draw something that looks like someone, like a realistic photo. Then I guess mistakes are a big deal. Alright, now when I go to drawing, when I start drawing the hair, what I noticed is that the two strands of the front of his hair, they actually cover both his eyes, so you can use the eyes as kind of a bookmark to show where the hair should sit. And you can do this a lot in drawing, so you can look at one part that you want to draw and see how it sits in relation to other parts of the piece. So for example, just like I said with the eyes, you should be able to fit a third eye in between the two, and that gives you the correct spacing between the two eyes. And as you progress on your art journey, you'll be able to intrinsically, or you just be able to naturally pick up spacing and it'll just come easier to you the more you practice. Yeah. So over here I sped it up just a little bit because I felt like I was taking it a bit too slow. I should have more confidence in my lines, but that's pretty much how I sketch. Yeah, so follow along. You can pause at this stage and just catch up to this part, and this is pretty much a good foundation for the face. So I haven't thought about details at this stage, and I've just tried to get all the basic lines down, so trying to get basic form. Now if you notice, or if you see the same as I do, the face isn't long enough, so in order to fix that I would drop the lips down a bit, and I would drop the jaw down a little bit as well. Yeah, cool. And this is actually how I used to learn how to draw. I would go on YouTube videos and I'd watch speed drawings, and I'd pause along the way and try to catch up with the artist, and I feel like it really helped me out throughout my journey of drawing anime characters. So now I'm drawing in the neck and adding in a bit of the clothing as well. Again, at this stage I'm just trying to figure out where everything sits and trying to get a basic form down. Right, now you see how I drew his right shoulder there? It should line up with the part of his traps that are exposed within the clothing. Yeah. So here I'm drawing the necklace, and I'm erasing small parts that I think don't look right. So take this time right now to fix up anything that you think doesn't look right to you and make small changes to adjust the drawing. When you do it at this stage, it's a lot easier to fix up things here than try to fix them up later on down the track when you've already shaded everything. Yeah. So there we go. I think that's a good base down. I also added in the shutting gun, so feel free to do this. To draw the shutting gun, it's rather basic. You just draw a dot in the center, 3 dots on the outside, and some dots that connect them. Yeah. Cool. There we go. I remember when I first saw the shooting gun, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. And there you go. You see that I'm fixing up the jaw and the chin again because it doesn't look right to me. And there we go. Awesome, so that looks better to me now. So now what I'm doing at this stage is, if you squint at the image, you'll start to see these shapes. So those parts are shaded. Just try to draw the whole shape and roughly shade in those areas. It doesn't have to be very detailed. You can just pause it at this stage and follow in with the shading that I've done on screen. And you may find out that I've missed some areas, and you can add some areas yourself as well to exaggerate it. Now we grab those shavings that I talked about in the beginning of the video, and we're just going to cover the entire thing. So this basically lays down our base tone, like our mid tones. Now it helps with putting in the hair very easily, just like you can see there. It really looks like he has a bit of strands of hair. Now you don't need graphite powder, and you can pretty much just lightly use a pencil and like pretty much draw over the entire thing very lightly and then shade it over. The reason I do recommend using a blending tool, like either a blending stub or a cloth or a cotton bud, is because if you draw it with your fingers, the oil from your fingers, the natural oils actually mix in with the piece and it looks a bit dirty. So sweat and dirt pretty much just mess it up. Now here I like to cut an eraser. This allows me to get a sharp, clean edge that allows me to erase out lines. So since we're using this deduction method, we can pretty much add in highlights using an eraser. So a lot of people simply use erasers for taking out mistakes, but you can actually use them to create highlights. And as you can see here just on the face, it already gives so much character when we erase a little bit of it. There we go. Now there's also a neat trick for when you're doing hair. To create fine strands of hair, you pretty much just use the side of the eraser and drag it down like a strand of hair. And you'll see me do this quite a lot. Yeah, later onwards you can go over those areas, lighten them up, and darken areas around them to really make them look nice. And all of these skills can be translated into any other one of your drawings, so I hope that these are skills that you adapt into other drawings of yours. So a lot of what shading is, to me, is it's finding these shapes, shifts in value. So whenever I try to shade a piece, I like to squint at whatever subject matter I'm trying to draw, and I try to break the part down, like break the drawing down into different parts. If you look at his neck, you can see on his collarbone, those two areas are very prominent, so they're a lot lighter than the rest of his neck. And a lot of anime drawings, they'll have like a 2 or 3 tone. Like with this Itachi drawing, as you can guess, it's about 2 tone. So that's pretty much what I do here. Also, I'm now using that method of hair that I spoke about, where you just use the side of the eraser and draw on some strands of hair. There we go. So it's a neat little trick to use to create realistic looking hair. And yeah. Now the thing about drawing with graphite is that lighting is very harsh on it, so I apologize in advance for the small details that kind of get lost in the lighting. But yeah. Now in this drawing I've chosen to start with the highlight first, but you can also start by just using a pencil to bring in the darker areas first. It's completely up to you. It's a matter of preference, and you'll kind of develop along the way and decide which one you like. So now I'm darkening the shapes that we drew earlier. You could have started with this method and then worked on the highlights, but what I like to do is I work with the highlights first, then I darken some areas, and then I go back and work the highlights in again, just to add a little bit of clean touches. And as you can see, it doesn't come out very well just because of the lighting, but at the end you'll see that it all comes together. So in future I'm going to work towards drawing with pen mainly, and you can pretty much use these same techniques with a pen. Yeah, and I'll explain those in later videos. Cool, so I'm just going to darken the areas that I find to be the darkest, and yeah, I think at this point, if you've gone up to this stage, you've pretty much got a nice drawing in front of you, and the rest is, yeah, like you'll be able to see the separate dark tone, mid-tone, and light tones. Yeah. Wicked, so I just thought I'd try put together a tutorial, and I'll be trying to put one of these together. No, you know what? I'm not going to try to. I am going to put a tutorial out on a weekly basis. So I'll have one tutorial video, and I'll have one video of me just working on a drawing of my own and kind of just talking about certain ideas from that piece, and just whatever comes to mind, really. Like how I usually ramble. If there are any suggestions of what you would like to see drawn next, then I would love to hear them, and they would give me great ideas for future tutorials. So if you do have a character you want to learn how to draw, just post it down in the comments below and I'll do a tutorial for it. Yeah. I also just want to take this time to say thank you to everyone that has joined me on my journey so far, and I do really appreciate it, because I remember when I had no subscribers and then I got 30 subscribers and that took a week. And I know I haven't been consistent, but I definitely will be in future. So now I'm at 700, and yeah, I'm just grateful that I get to reach people with my art. So thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. And I do appreciate all the connections and everyone that reaches out. And if you do want to talk, just find my Instagram, or message me there and show me your drawings. So if you've drawn this, I'd like to see how you went. Yeah. So I'll be quiet for now, and I just want to say thank you for watching. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. If you like what you saw, then or if this video helped you in any way, then please consider hitting that thumbs up. And if you want to see future videos, just subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. So enjoy the rest of the video. Bye. Have a good night.